Okay, you guys, I just want to quickly go over the responses. Sorry it took me so late to, or so long to get back to you regarding the survey responses for Club 8, but here they are. Go over some stats real quick. 98.18% said yes to another club. Over 67% said yes to vocal chart for combo and big band. And 67% commented or made suggestions. So let me go through some of them. I'll answer a few questions too at the end that you guys had. Positive stuff. A few people, well, most people were positive, but some good suggestions as well. Just hope the combo clubs keep going. Brilliant charts, so on and so forth. Don't stop. Clubs are great and work really well. Please don't change what's not broken. I like it just the way it is. Been a lifesaver. I use every single chart. I feel the format you follow is excellent. 3, 4 horn, 10-piece big band. It's real bargain. Blah blah blah. Okay, so those are some good. Oh, here's another positive. Been happy with all your charts regarding instrumentation of style. They have been very useful. Did a 3-horn concert and did all my charts. Gave you deserved credit and had great response. So I'm really glad you guys are using the music. That's one good thing, that they aren't sitting on a shelf somewhere. So get out there and get them played. So okay, here's the negatives, or some of them anyway. The 8-piece in 2018 is not what I want anymore. You send too many of that combo compared to the 11-piece and big band. However, I'd like to just get 11-piece and big band. One of the reasons there are more combo is I started out with Combo Club originally, and they take a lot less time to write. So I could never do as many big band charts as combo charts. So it's just a logistics thing. And then, as usual, like there were opposites of every point. So when you have a group of this many people, everybody's got their opinion. So the next person said, I'm only interested in small combos, but happy with anything you feel like doing. Um, Another thing is how everybody differs in the level of band that they have. And I always knew this. You can't please everybody all the time. So we just try to do the best we can. Jim, your writing's great, but starting to become a bit formulaic. Suiting Triangle are outstanding, and Time Shadow. Personally, I'm looking for level 5 or 6 jazz concert charts for my no net. Now, that's a very small minority. I would imagine most of the Combo Club members are amateurs and that are not looking for such difficult charts. If I wrote level 6 jazz charts, uh, I'd get a lot of complaints. So what I try to do is make them playable. Because, we all know the reality is that a lot of these just get played and sight read. A lot of you probably aren't even rehearsing so much, although some of them do need rehearsal, and I tell you that when I write them. So the other person said it'd be nice to see some more charts that are more accessible to high school. Perhaps seeing if there's an interest for a high school only club. That's a possibility. I'd have to get to every high school band director in the country, probably. But I think there's so much music out there. I think writing stuff that's not so available or whatever. There's never been really. Maybe 40, 50 years ago there was a not enough music, but I think today people can buy stuff from the main publishers. So that's one reason why I try to do stuff that you guys want to do, and stuff that you request tunes and that. And I really take those into consideration. So here's some more negatives. Shorter big band charts. Fewer bossa nova big band charts. More swing dance charts. No tempo changes. Can't dance to that. So you see the one wants level 6 jazz charts, and this person wants just basically dance music. As far as shorter big band charts, I write them the way they would be played at a gig in a club setting. I don't write like dance stuff per se. So this isn't like a dance club. Although some of them, the swing stuff, can be danced to, and I do consider that as a recommendation, or I mean a consideration when I do write these, and when I put these tunes up. So it really is a juggling. I really have to juggle all these factors. So keep that in mind. Your arrangements keep getting better, though I have to make cuts to make them a length that work for my bands. Um, that goes back to playing them for a concert or for dance. So I try to write solos in there for people that don't improvise. You can always just improvise your own. You don't have to read the solo that I've written. So Here's another one that says smaller arrangements, fewer pages. Now I've gotten this and I've addressed this in the past years. Um, Also, more open solos instead of written suggested solos. Well, it's great if everybody can play. I mean, when you consider the high school kids, they're not going to be able to play. Well, I shouldn't say not be able to, but they're going to have a tough time playing some of these changes that I write. So that's why I put in suggested solos. You don't have to play them. Also, the thing of 3 pages. A lot of guys are getting older in the clubs, including myself, and our eyes are not what they used to be. So I do make them as readable as I can. 10 staves per 8.5 by 11. I put 10 staves on a page, so you just can't keep getting them smaller and smaller. These aren't marching band charts. So I try to keep them to 3 pages. I really do. Piano parts are not going to be 3 pages unless I just put a whole bunch of changes down. But then a lot of people like the voicings, because the kids can learn from them, or the person that's playing piano doesn't always know how to voice well, especially with the horns that are being played than voicing. So next person says, I prefer instrumentals featuring sections, few if any solos. Problem with vocals is that the chart is often not in the key the vocalist prefers or can handle. Now, I do agree with that, especially female vocalists. I mean, they may prefer a half step, away. So I know the whole chick singer thing, the issues with that, but generally a lot of times a tune is in a standard key and instrumentals can handle that. But I do agree with that. So you can't really have a chart with no solos. I mean, this is jazz, so keep in mind if we take the solos out, it's going to be a little rougher when you start watering down things. So here's some suggestions. You can see the difference. More Great American Songbirds. So this guy wants standards. Vocal charts with basic style, like Sinatra, danceable swing tunes. Standards, you can't go wrong with standards. Okay. Female vocals would be a great addition. A lot of people did say female vocals, so I will definitely consider those and put those in. You guys are voting, so if they don't win, they don't win. I'd be interested in the occasional female vocal since I have a female singer. So kind of across the board, everybody is more interested in female vocals than male vocal. Here's more suggestions. I'd like to see one of the rounds of the club devoted to songs where charts are not commercially available for sale or resale, either out of print or never had a published arrangement. And that's a tough one because I have no idea what's been published or printed, or I just look at the tune and think that'd be a good chart on that. So I can't really go through every publisher that's ever published anything. This is more, this is real highly designed type of thing. Horn background arrangements for 60s, 80s pop tunes. That's a tough one because a lot of people aren't playing gigs with singers and wedding gigs and stuff. So I don't know if that would go over at all for what's made for this kind of club. So keep a blend of mainstream and more contemporary classics. And that more than a few people did say that. I mean, I can come up with these, but I want you to know that a lot of times these vocal tunes of pop tunes just do not transfer over. I did a whole bunch of charts for one of the service bands, a whole bunch of them like 10 years ago. And they were all charts that were singable, some country and this and that. And I tried my best to make them sound good, and just make them sound like the tune. But, you can't take a country tune and make it into a big band chart and sound, exactly the same. Unless you change the changes and this and that, and then it starts to just totally change the entire meaning of the original. So perhaps arranging more current popular music, Aretha Franklin, blah, 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 may be worth considering a couple of her pieces. Yeah, that's all well and good. I guess we could. You guys are going to vote for them, so we'll see how it goes. I just know I don't have that much fun arranging that stuff because I used to do that for wedding bands all the time. And I don't know. It has to be fun for me and a challenge, or it's just no good. So you could go some other site and probably find those horn band charts somewhere. And I think there's some guy in Australia that does that. This guy says, I'm primarily a jazz fan. I feel more comfortable with commercial music, or it could be looked at commercial music. So the other thing, now this is one where you're going to really stretch. More commercial numbers to augment the jazz side. Bread, Neil Diamond, Robbie Williams, I'm not even sure who that is, but Bublé, Michael Bublé, yeah, those are good tunes. A lot of them are just arranged standards, though. Frank Sinatra, obviously those would be standards. So Bread and Neil Diamond, that's a rough one because you're going to start changing the entire meaning of those, and they're going to sound, somebody's going to go, who the hell arranged this thing? So, okay. Anyway, random Q&A. If I can get your works, okay, let me just address these questions, and then we'll wrap this up. If I can get your works in the past you wrote for Rob Parton, I do have a lot of those. Just email me, and I'll let you know what I can do for that. How about an occasional shout chorus after the solo section? I know it's mostly a big band thing, but it also can work with small ensembles. I don't know if you've been in the club for a while, but I do that. I do shout choruses. I do choruses after, and now you're getting into where they're getting too long for some people, so you got to cut them out. So you got to, keep it in mind. If I feel that some things don't need a shout chorus, like put it where you want it, you don't need a shout chorus on that. Every tune is different, so keep that in mind. Charts that are playable for 3 to 13 horns. They used to be more common than they are today. I think they could do with a revival. Well, let me tell you, a 3-horn chart and 13-horn chart are completely different animals. So if you can find a chart that works for 3 horns as well as 13, it's not gonna be that custom. So I write for what the horns are, and I make it as well as that. Even 3 and 4 horns is different because you have that extra voice in the voicing, and we'll be going over some of that stuff in the next club, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. More random Q&A. Added changes of rhythms in the arrangement. Example: bossa to swing, funk to swing. Now we're getting into where people can't dance to these. So I do that kind of thing. I have done that in the past. It depends on the tune. So you can't take a standard and make it funk and then go into swing. I mean, I suppose you could, but sometimes you're putting a square peg in a round hole. You got to remember these are standards, and they do have, it's a genre. So you can't be making it funk and then all of a sudden go into swing. It'll just sound too weird. 2 or 3 changes of key. Now I do key changes. I don't think I've done 2 or 3 in I usually bring the ending up maybe a little bit to kind of add some variety in that, and I've done that in big band as well as combo. Somebody asked about reduced versions of arrangements like Dear Old Stockholm, Main Street News. That's a rough one too because you got lead trumpet. They're not going to sound the same. Lead trumpet can't be, for a 3-horn chart, up as high as I put Dear Old Stockholm. So I could water it down some and make it into that. I'd have to change it around. I suppose I could do that, but I like to just finish a chart and have it be as it is. Do you have time to do online arranging lessons? You got to go over to jazzarrangingclass.com. And we're going to be doing some stuff with this next club with teaching. It'd be kind of cool to have you guys be able to do arranging on your own. And I think every musician should be able to throw a chart together and have some basic idea of how to do this. So any chance of jazz funk style similar to the Chicken or Brecker Brothers? Yeah, I could put those in, no problem. So I hope that helped you see what all you guys are thinking. So check your email really soon. I am going to have a Club 9 starting very soon. It's going to be a little different. It's going to have some educational aspects to it. Not as much big band, but there will be some big band. And I hope to get 1 or 2 guys that I really would like to write for the club involved. And I'll keep you posted on that. I want to start here in the next few weeks. But I'll send you an email and I'll send you the information on that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be different than it's been in the past in that there's going to be an educational component to this where I'm going to be going over the music that is voted on and really just kind of document for people that want to learn more about how to do this. So anyway, that's all for today, and talk to you soon.